Okay.
Alright, this is our current aquaponics system called the MR400. MR standing for Matthew Ray, and the 400 stands for the amount of gallons of water it has.
This system is a recirculating system, so all of the water is constantly going through. Right here is our fish tank, and the water from here drains into this tank, which is the filter, and then into the bacteria tank, and then into our lettuce beds.
In our lettuce beds, we've obviously grown lettuce, red and green. We've also grown chard, Swiss chard, and sugar snap peas. Lettuce we use more frequently because it is easier to be grown in the system.
The water from the lettuce beds drains into here, which is our pump tank, and then it comes back into our fish tank. In our fish tank right now, we have 8 tilapia. The new system that we're building is basically a bigger scale of this system, and it's called the MR1600, which means that it'll have 1,600 gallons of water. In our new system, we'll have perch instead of tilapia, 200 in each tank, and we have 2 big tanks.
Continue to swap between these 2 tanks, so once the fish that are in here grow out, then we'll have new fish that will be put in here, and the same with this tank. The hole down here will be for plumbing, which will run all through here. And actually, right over here, this is our sump tank. You want to explain something?
The sump tank was made by students. It is about 3.5 feet deep into the ground. We had help from Mr. Ray cutting the cement.
So we all drew up 2 new floor plans of not just the greenhouse, but also the fish room. We only helped because it was such a tight fit, as you can see. So besides the sump tank, we also have this filter, which is empty right now, but the drain is over here, and it also drains over here, which will then go into the lettuce beds, which will take up this space and will occupy this space as well.
Why do you have the fish tanks in this kind of enclosure in the MR16 as opposed to?
So that during the summer we'll be able to function without that large, drought that we had.
Oh, got too
cost
hot?
us a lot of fish.
It got too hot?
There will be 2 different temperatures actually.
Okay.
This will be actual room temperature, and this is going to be able to be heated or cooled.
Okay.
So in the summer, we'll be cooling this room so that we don't lose any fish.
All right.
And then in the winter, it's actually pretty nice in here still. So we don't always have to heat it.
Look at the effective temperature on, let's say, a given fish, or compare fish at a given temperature. Have you thought about that? Is that part of your plan, or are you just building it now with flexibility?
Well, once we finish our system and have the new fish in the tanks, we'll be doing a lot of water chemistry and other data keeping, so we'll be able to keep track of things like pH and temperature and their growth, so we know when to harvest and get a new fish.
Have you
Has studying aquaponics been different than other kind of studies that you've done at school?
I think so, because when we're studying aquaponics, we get to come out here to the greenhouse, and so it's hands-on, and it's definitely a lot different from all of our other studies.
Do you take courses related to this, or do you just self-study?
Last year we did take the UW-Madison fish course, and we also took a food course called Serve Safe, so we can know about food preparation, food preservation, and how to maintain and manage food.
For the new system, since we basically expanded it by a lot, this whole greenhouse is pretty much going to be part of the system. These 2 large areas over here are going to be very, very large lettuce beds. And we are going to, do you know how much lettuce we're going to be able to produce?
I think.
MR what?
1,600, yeah. With our new system, I'm pretty sure we should have at least 35 heads of lettuce, or 35 pounds.
Pounds.
Yeah. A week, too. So,
And this aquaponics that we have at Fernwood for the adolescents, 7th and 8th graders, it was not mandatory this year or last year or any of the past years. But this year, Mr. A is trying to get everyone involved within this aquaponics greenhouse project that we have. So as of right now, it's just a choice whether if you want to work in the greenhouse or not. But next year, or the beginning of this year, we're going to actually have a business involved with the greenhouse. Mr. A got a Type 1 food certification license, so we can actually sell the lettuce that we make. And the money that we receive from selling the lettuce will go back into further investments in the greenhouse project that we have.
Will you be going to build upon this in high school? Do you have a high school that does this kind of thing you might go to next
I
year?
might be going to Rufus King actually, and they do have an aquaponics class.
Right, yeah.
It's very small though, and make it something bigger, I guess.
So do you have some thoughts about this gizmo here? Can you tell us?
oh yeah. This is our transpiration bed, and it used to be hooked up.
It's what?
The transpiration bed.
Transpiration bed.
Yeah. It used to be hooked up to a sink, but we got a new sink in order for our new system to for the space issues. The old sink was connected to our transpiration bed, and the water from our sink would drain into here. The transpiration bed is a layer of rock and gravel, sand, and then soil. And the water that's drained into here is absorbed through the roots of the plants, and then what isn't absorbed transpires into the air, which is why it's called a transpiration bed.
That's associated with transpiration.
Yeah.
Evaporation, transpiration.
Yep.
And what is the good of a transpiration bed?
We cut down on the amount of black and gray water that most facilities produce, like excess water and wastewater. Yeah.
Okay.
But since it's a transpiration bed, all of our water stays in our greenhouse, so we're not polluting the sewers or anything else.
Okay. Nice. Very good. Wonderful. Wonderful.
But actually, fish are jumping around, so if you guys want to go over there and see the fish.
Oh boy. They're big guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's fish in there, but I saw them all.
Yep, they're pretty big.
They are. Yeah.
Pretty beastly.
Happy.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Happy fish is a healthy fish.